Hey guys, welcome and let's review the Squid Game from season 1, I think 2 and 3. It's all about politics, it's all about a lot of things, so hold up. And so there's Jinho, there is Jinho who's the player, and we see that he has employed two, I don't know how to call them, but they're like detectives to find the people in the game, the people who actually make the game go. Yeah. And then there is another detective. So I think if you haven't watched season 1, it's kind of gonna be hard for you to understand the characters here. Okay, and the names are, oh my god, I need to get the names right. Yeah, so yeah. And now, finally, in season 1, we finally meet with the two detectives. Finally, come get to find the man in the game, the man who recruits, the recruiter of the games. And the reason I wanted to review this game is because I feel like it's more, I don't know what the director had in mind, but for me, I just feel like it's so much about our lives. Because if you see the recruiter, like he goes around recruiting people, and the first time he gives them bread, or it's not a gift card, it's a lottery ticket. So most of the people choose the lottery ticket and they end up losing. Okay. And then he tries a lot of people and they all take lottery tickets. And then there is after they've all tried the lottery tickets, he takes the bag of bread that he has. I think it's a cake or bread, and he is it stampede or what? He just tramples them on the ground. He just spoils it all, and there are hungry people looking at him. So for me, that's like, what is it called? It's symbolism for something. So in season 2, we are introduced to the pregnant lady who has a deadbeat boyfriend who hasn't been picking up his calls. So this is also an important feature. Yeah, that is season 2. And now we see the Detective Wang. Let's call him Wang because, man, these names are crazy. So we'll call him Detective Wang, who's also searching for his brother, who is like one of the major key controllers of the game. He's like the boss of the game, one of the bosses. Yeah. So Detective Wang is looking for his boss brother. So I feel like this game, it shows how life is. You remember the way people say that when you're young, you write with a pencil because it's easily erasable, but as you grow up, you now start using a pen, which is really hard to erase. There's still gonna be some evidence of the pen there. So I feel like this game is all about this, how life is actually is. Like if you trip, like one step, you just trip and fall. It's gonna affect your entire life. You're gonna lose. You're gonna die. You know, and it's not just a game like in the playground. Now this Squid Game is the game of life, and we are welcomed by, especially season 2 as it begins. We see Inho, the brother to the detective, who is one of the controller, the bosses of the game. He once got in a very small problem. I'd call it small because you'd say, oh, a bribe is nothing, it's not as big. But it actually shows that, once you get into something small, as small as that bribe, it actually took him down to the underground, to the creme de la creme of crimes. As you can see, the game, it's brutal. So it actually speaks to us, like those small things that you think these are not so bad, they can actually lead to bigger things, like Inho, the boss. And I also feel the urge to call these players not by their names but by their numbers. So our main character will be player 456, who is the main character. Yeah, and there is the pregnant lady whose character 222. anyway, we'll continue. Let's just the reason as to why I feel like I need to call them that with the numbers is because especially when it comes to politics, um, and what is happening, especially in our country, in Kenya right now, is a lot of men are dying. Yes, out of abductions. A lot of ladies are dying through femicide, uh, and a lot of things are just happening. Some are political, some are just JBVs and everything, and it gets to a point where these people don't are not just people, because that's how the society has made it look like. These are not just people, they're just numbers, and it's like they're nothing in the society, so we'll be like, oh, in a year we have lost like 90,000 women through femicide, but we cannot say their names. They're just a number, and it takes out the importance of their lives, and I feel like people are playing it down because that is just a number. The deaths are just a number. The men who are dying, the ones we are finding in the River Yala, the ones whose bodies are disposed, they are just numbers, because this is what politically, they are making it seem like this is just a number. And so this is the whole symbol, like this Squid Game, for me, it's a whole symbolism of everything that is happening in our society, politically, and just communally and everything. Yeah. So another thing about this Squid Game is when you look at the players, most of them have, they call them deaths to pay, and there's this one particular dad who has a kid in the hospital whose insurance is not covered, and now he's like, let me try to play this game, let me try gamble my way through this game that they don't even know what it's all about, so that I can get some money to pay up for my kids medical surgeries, I think. And these other people want to clear off their debts. Yeah. So if you look at the place where they put the money, the piggy bank, the pig definitely represents what do we call it? Greed. And once these people start being eliminated, and they see the money that's coming in the piggy bank, you'll see the greed in these people's eyes that makes them stay. And with that, the way they show the greed, it actually brings me back to this African society and how most of our leaders are destroying our African countries. Because if you look at how the leaders are gaining from these other Western countries, from the US, from the Europeans, and the fact that I feel like they're being told, you should take this and make this a policy in your country so that we can give you this amount maybe of money or this certain power or this, and it doesn't matter who dies, who is actually destroyed in their countries, as long as they get what they want, especially when it comes to the leaders and everyone in these political seats. Because when you look at some of the policies that they are passing through, you do wonder, why are they doing this? And I feel like they have been given this opportunity to gain more from some of the things that are happening in our country. When you look at player 001, he is. So when it comes to the player 001, it shows some of the politicians, or we can call them activists as well, who claim that they are with the people of the country when we are looking and uniting and fighting for our rights. And these are the people who come in and they're like, oh, we are with you, for better, for worse. We're going to stand with you. But at the end of the day, you find that these are the people who actually come in and actually, how do I call it? They are like a sell-off, yeah, and they play mind games with people, and yet they are at arms with the people who are bringing the country down, Yeah, so 001 represents one of those people. You will all through the game, especially the episode 3, all through to the episode 4, I think to the episode 5, you'll see a lot of player 1. He's like, oh, so do you know about the next game? What are we what do you think we should do? And he's trying to act like he's so interested with what player 456 information, and all through he just wants to know what's the next move and how they're actually gonna change it. He's gonna go, he's the boss, but also in the players den, which makes it so crazy because I just feel like this is just all politics, and you can see how people, especially for example, if we have the mandamanos, the riots, you know, when we are opposing the finance bills, and we have people inside the Gen Z's protests who are actually selling out these Gen Z's. And you think they're part of you, but they're not. So you'll see a lot of sellouts. Um, and also, this is where we are introduced to Player 222, who is one of those ladies who is pregnant, and you'll see the plight of women, in this game. And it's actually in the society as a whole, and we'll continue seeing that during the game. And in episode 4, where we are introduced to player 222, the pregnant lady, we see that one of the ladies actually is the one who takes into consideration, like, oh my God, you're actually pregnant. And she's one of the ladies who has a kid there. He's a grown man, but he's a kid. He's still her kid. And she's the only one who's like, take care of yourself. She's really concerned about player 222. Yeah, and you'll see, like, in the society right now, most of the ladies are out here on their own. Pregnancy is a big thing. People try to bring it down. Like, you'll hear people say, oh, kazi yako ni kuzaza, like, your only job is just getting pregnant and getting, it's like a bad thing. But it's such a godly thing, I feel, from my perspective. And I feel like it's something that should be not respected, but, okay, respected, please don't get me wrong, but it should be taken in a very good, in a high, I don't know how to call it, but yeah. So the player 222 represents uh, a whole society of women who are actually put on the side, and they are not considered. You're still pregnant, which is like, uh, it's a demanding time for a lady, because you have some kid growing inside you. You need better care, but people around you don't care. You'll still play in this game of life. People don't care if you're pregnant or not. You'll still get problems just like every other person. So it represents a lot of things, yeah. And people around you won't care, like, oh, you're pregnant, so we should give you the first priority. No, you're in this alone, for one. Unless there's someone who will come and be like, oh, you see, like, it just represents a whole society of women who are going through a lot, yeah. And then there's this player, she's the sniper 11, and she represents the majority of people who are like in, like, a sort of a government, and they are the people who are like, who see something bad going on, and it just clicks, like, this is not right, and they try to fight it. And the part where she's given a warning, and she's even threatened just to get the warning, instilled in her. And we see what happens. She continues to fight on, but she almost ends her life. Her life almost ends through that, and it represents a lot of people that we have seen in our societies fighting for what's right, and they ended up, being eliminated. Yeah, so she's one of those people who are inside this government, but they see her wrong, they try to work on it, but it just goes haywire. So for the 1st game, I don't have any relation to anything that's happening. I don't know. I haven't seen anything in the first one, but in the second game, especially when player 456 claims he has played the previous game, so he knows what the second game will be, and then all these people, and then it's a different game when they come to the ground. This is the saying yenye watu wanasema vitu kwa ground ni different. And then if you are into politics, you'll see people who come out with the truth, but it's again twisted. When you least expect it, it's twisted. And one of the reasons that happens is because one of the people you think you trust is actually not rooting for you. These people are with the people who are taking the country down. So again, these are all political games for me, my opinion. So yeah, I feel like something like that. So the second game, I feel like it just brings us into a society where it asks us to plan our work, also work together when it comes to things, and also help each other manage their anxiety, look at each other's strengths. It's I think the second game is as good as that, and also carry each other forward, help each other get to our goals. Yeah, so that's the first part of Squid Game with the Hong Dai guys, I guess. I'm sorry about the background, but yeah, let's check out part 2.